Welcome everyone. Welcome hard. Welcome Heathcliff. Your first strike, Ricardo? Very good. That is very good. That is amazing. Very well done, Hard. I am proud of you. Glory to Svimael? Yes. Svimael is the tankiest of the tankiest of them all. Now the reaction streamer manager is becoming Sniper Wolf. I'm gonna do some nasty in live. You're divorcing, Carmen? Finally? I mean, with the stuff that she's doing with all the people in the Discord server, it is understandable. You got yourself that. Little cheater? No. You mean giga cheater? That's how she is. It's understandable because that's how he goes, right? That's how he goes. You have to understand that you made that bad, and now you're gonna lay on it. And I will never say I told you so, because I never told you so. So that's your problem. Manager, I'm married. Finally pulled my wife in Honkai the Third? Damn. No more boohoo, single father. Very nice. Damn, Honkai Third. My goodness gracious. That is an old ass game. Oarsman? What's an oarsman? Oarsman, isn't an oarsman the guy that pulls the boat? An oarsman? Oarsman! Row the boat! And then he just pushes the boat with a big stick. It's Fishmail line from Kanto 5. God damn it. Today Hot divorced and I got married? Yes. Yes. At least you got a good wife, unlike Hot that knows not how to choose a woman. Ha! That's what you got, Kyogre. You deserve that. Went from 5'7" to 5'36". Nice. Very nice. I'm still sad that Kanto 5 is so bad. But people love it, which is fine. But it's still too bad. It's so bad. I am afraid that Honglu's Kanto is gonna be bad as well. But we'll see. We'll see. They're learning. They're learning how to write good stories. But yeah. Like at least a good continuity of the story. But yeah. He's just gonna be innocent, his Kanto, I bet. I hope that his whole facade of haha hee hee haha, I don't know what's going on, guys. I have no clue. I hope that they take that facade and they just show who he really is. Because he knows what's going on. He's not that stupid. He cannot be that stupid. If he is that stupid, I don't know how they can make it good. Hello there. I woke up from my 5 a.m. and going back to sleep because I need those extra hours. Good night, Shredder. I hope you rest well, my man. Thank you for waking up and stopping by and saying hi. Is that silly and stupid? I hope not. Hello, Sola. Welcome back. Haven't been here forever? Yeah. How have you been doing, my man? How was Christmas? Hope you enjoyed and had tons of fun and ate shit ton of food. Yesterday, me and Hod saw a guy who got mad from failed to pull Wild Hunt and pulled Encore Mercil. Damn! Imagine trying to get Wild Hunt and pulling Encore Mercil of all creatures. You started playing Limbus? Hey, there you go. Very nice. Very nice. That's very nice. Mark 2.0? Really? He was an Edgelord? Damn. Christmas was good? Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Christmas is fine to spend with family and friends. Or if you are like me and you're completely alone, you can spend it by yourself, doing absolutely nothing. That's exactly what I did. Although, I gotta say that I did a pretty good food for myself. So I ate pretty good. After I left, he pulled Wild Hunt. He still managed to do it? Damn. You started Limbus last month? Nice. Kanto 6. Already? Damn. Damn. My man is fast. Kanto 6 in a month? That is fast. It took me, I don't know, like 2 months to finally get to Kanto 6. Kanto 6 is one of the best Kantos. It's one of the best Kantos. If you like tragedies, that is a golden plate, indeed. It's a really good. Kanto 7 is so amazing. It's just incredible. It's incredible. Narratively speaking, character developments speaking, the pacing is amazing. Everything is amazing in Kanto 7. Everything is so well done in Kanto 7. They took everything they learned and they just applied it. It's so good. Did 9 Heathcliff banner pulls since my friend told me I'd need to use Heathcliff but I had no IDs. Oh, my lunacy was gone. Damn. Can you not dispense? I think you can dispense him already, can you not? Can you guys confirm Hot Heathcliff? Can you guys confirm for me? I think you can dispense him already, right? Or is it on the next Kanto? I think you can. I don't remember. Got W, Court, Merceau, and Potential Men on the same boot. Damn. You got Pequod Harpooner? Nice. He's a good bleed slash poise. Season 4 I did spend. Oh, okay, gotcha. Ishmael isn't free? Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean she isn't free? You mean her ego? I think you can only dispense egos from season 4 now? No, season 3. It's always like a season after. So there is season 4, and then in the next season, the season 4 is gone, and the season 3 comes up. And then on season 6, season 4 comes in, and season 5 goes away. You got Holiday Heath. I got Holiday Heathcliff as well for free. I bought it. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to play every day. I'm gonna have to every day go in and play a little bit and get out, which is sad. Which is absurdly sad. But it is what it be. About your divorcing, I got half of a bottle of a Jack Daniel left. Nice. Not that Hod will need to drown her sadness because it is to be celebrated actually. So bring meat and make a barbecue. Yes, I am evil. I'm here chatting with you guys. I'm supposed to be reacting to some videos. I am doing the reaction thing because yesterday I drank until I died, and then I woke up today and I am absolutely dead. So I'm not gonna do much gaming because I'm not responsive. I am not responsive at all. My brain is just not braining and my hands are shaking. It's the perks of being an old man. The perks of being an old man that drinks. That's what you get. You get shaky hands and unresponsive brain stuff. You make the Enkefeling Jack Daniel. Nice. Very nice. Enjoy hard. And let me pull up the thing. It is as Dawn says, your brain tricks you into thinking. You are correct, Dawn. As always. Yummy yummy, I shall get back. Limboosing. Nice. Let me take away my music. Transition here. Transition, oh my god. Goodbye, Zola. Thank you for coming in and stopping by. Alright. If you come back, you come back. I'll be here. I'll be here for a couple of hours. Close laugh. Wait, let me turn on my lights. I am in complete darkness here, and I don't like it. Let me take away my jacket as well. React to Silk Song trailer. How is a Silk Song trailer? Let me. Silk Song trailer. Watch as I get copyrighted by it. I can't watch anything that is too official, sadly. Because they like, oh no, you're watching from some stuff. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. Skibbity talk. Manager doesn't know Hollow Knight. I never played Hollow Knight. I know Hollow Knight exists, but I never played it. Fight for what? Wait, what? Fight for the fate of a haunted land. Let me see. I need to watch it with manager to cope. 26.94. Wait. 2022? That was 2 years ago? Huh? It will release at the next reset of universe? Damn. Hunt. Uh-huh. Wait. There's something here. Watch. He missed. He missed the jump. He missed the jump. Look. He missed the jump. Let me put it on slow motion. Where are speed? 0.5. Watch. He did. He missed the jump. Let me go back. I want to go back just to fucking... He missed the jump. God damn it. Stop. He missed the jump. He missed the jump skill issue in a game that will never exist. I know, right? Look at that. Look at that. He missed the jump. He missed the jump. It was too late. It was too late to go back. We should react to Fugu's trailer next. We can. Hello, Flerosion. Welcome. Oh yeah, Hod first tried Ricardo with the power of the Chunky Mael. With the power of Chunky Mael, he did it. He did it. He's amazing. He's incredible. Wait, wait, wait. Did you solo it? Hod? Did you solo Ricardo? I bet you did because it's chunky, my L. There you go. That's how you do it. Amazing. I'm proud of you. I like the enemy design and the, but I like more the environment. Did he fell off? Yeah, he fell off. If you fall, do you die? If you fall, do you die, Hod? If Svaimayo is Guts, who is Griffith? Nah, it can't be Ahab. It can't be Ahab. It has to be someone else. You die? Look, he died right here. Whee! He died. My gosh, people that play these things. Survive. Uh-huh. Ah. He got damaged right here, right here. He got damaged. Watch, watch. He's gonna fall into the spikes. Look at that, look at that. He's gonna fall into the spikes. How can you make a trailer of a game and you touch the spikes? You fall to your death. You touch the spikes. What are you trying to say here? Survives, get damaged. I know, right? Survives, proceeds to not survive. You stream later with some Roblox? Nice. Very well done, Flair. Keep the consistency, my man. Keep it up. Continue. Don't stop. If you fall, take 1 damage and go back to on a platform. Oh. Oh, like one of these head damages here. Okay, got it. IGN Cup head incident. Vanquish. The enemies look okay. They all look like insects. Oh, an antagonist? Nice. Oh, he killed Silk Song. Oh, Silk Song. That's why they're all insects. It's because it's Silk Song. You know, silk. Hollow Knight is insect themed. Oh, okay. All right. Xbox. What's the other one that you guys said? Let me go back here. No, I will not react to Skibidi Toilet. It's the other one. Which one is it? Was it Flair that said? Like, Fugu's trailer. Let me copy paste it. Oops. Fugu's trailer. Honkai? Ugh. Ah, I've seen this bitch. My cousin is in love with Fugue. 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 He is in love with the character. Got manager watch? No. No. There is in PTBR. Look, it's in Brazilian Portuguese. It's in Brazilian Portuguese. No. I'll pass. Because it's gonna have this OST. And they're gonna kill me. YouTube is gonna destroy me. I bet if I watch Skibidi Toilet, I would get obliterated as well. Manager react to Lobotomy Corporation ASMR. You get sent to calm down KOH, but you suck at your job, and she escapes. Damn. More Hatsune Heathcliff lore. Fugue is my mom. I love being delusional. That's incest right there. You don't do that. You don't do that. Don't do that. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, fuck is this? Alright, let's see this guy here. The ASMR is so fire. No. ASMR Ryoshu? No. No, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me, man. I have never played the second one, the second Far Cry. I have no idea what it is about. I know the first one. The first one is about mutants, which is quite interesting. All things considered, it's about a military guy, like a CIA guy, investigating some mutants. It's quite weird. Ah, fuck was that weapon? 14. Manager face review? Never gonna happen. First, because I don't have a webcam. Secondly, because I don't plan on having a webcam anytime soon. And even if I have a webcam, I will use a what is it called? What do you guys call it? A VR model. UFL lol. I just realized the person who soloed Ricardo with Vimeo did like one card and everything else skills except for Ricardo. Huh? VTuber manager, we're living the best life. In the future, if it ever happens, until then, if my PC doesn't die until then, right? Because the PC might die and I won't be able to stream anymore. Manager in J collab. Once I am famous enough, maybe. Jay, what did Jay want with someone that has like 100 subscribers? He doesn't want the pitiful little shite that is me. Besides, I will have to tone myself down because he is PG-13 and I am not PG-13. My channel is tagged for 18 plus. Even though my channel gets recommended to kids. Look at Heathcliff here. Ha! My boy has 14 years old. Dangerous? Yeah. You know the kind of stuff that happens on the chat, Hod. You know. You are a part of it. You isn't a burger? A burger. A burger. Wait. What? 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 Damn. That's not how malaria works. What? Get manager to use character AI. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, the Crytek did the first Far Cry, and then Ubisoft came in and bought them and bought the rights, and then it's a completely different team that makes the games. Does that guy just randomly pop up? It's one of the Crytek creators, I think. Look at that. And then everyone understood that jungles are cool, and all the other games became have some sort of jungle in them. And I just saw 40 plus minute. We're in here for a long night. Oh yeah, and it's a shards by Mile. Wait, did you use a friend, Chonky Mile? You should have got what's his name again? Plaugus, because Plaugus has everything uptight, max uptight, all the eagles max uptight. He has everything maxed out. If you haven't added Plaugus, you should add him. He absolutely. I only use his supports because he does have everything uptight, max uptight, everything. My man is a monster. Oh yeah, manager, the video is silent for us. Wait, what? Let me see here. Can he be heard? Can you hear now?
Time, the Far Cry brand was starting to struggle since a ton of other games started to place their games in the jungle as well.
You
So
should
they
be able
tried
to
to
use
just
it now.
move
To hear
away
you now.
from the jungle overall, which is, kinda ironic since Far Cry 3 would once again.
There we go. You couldn't afford the ego? Damn. Sorry about that. I am a professional streamer, guys. I am a complete professional streamer, just like what's his name again? Something Wolf? Stealth Wolf? What is his name again? Silver Sniper Wolf. That shows how much I know about streamers. Kill Ricardo before hair coupons though. Damn. You can afford anything as long as you have the funny card. Oh yeah, you have to have your mama's card. It's in your mama's purse. You have to open it, and then usually the moms have a little wallet, which is usually very chunky, and then you open it up and you pick the card, and those numbers you put them there, and all their numbers appear on the screen. Don't worry about it. Just get everything. Tomorrow I'll be streaming some strategy games. Ooh, what you streaming? What you streaming? What kind of game? If this unit is defensive, stand deals 70% more damage. Damn. Damn.
Yeah, take place in the jungle. Now, the game would take place in Africa, and this is an interesting and new setting that many games don't even touch. And still, the tone would be drastically different compared to its previous installments. While Far Cry 1 had drawn inspiration from H.G. Wells' novel The Island of Dr. Moreau and had a divisive science fiction-like tone with a pinch of spy thriller in it. Far Cry
Oh my goodness, look at this.
divisive science fiction-like tone with a pinch of spy thriller in it.
Look at this mustache! Look at the mustache! Look at the mustache, guys. My girl have not only the mole, but she has the mustache as well. Damn. Damn. Just some strategy games such as some RTS, tower defense, etc. Okay. Oh my gosh. Uh, woman mustache is crazy? Yeah. Look at this. She has more mustache than me.
Far Cry 2, however, took inspiration from Joseph Conrad's 1899 novella The Heart of Darkness, as
Ooh.
well as the film adaptation Apocalypse Now. And you know, it's relatively easy to see what tone they were going for based on just these two
Apocalypse
words.
Now is a
And
nice
the intent
movie.
was for a darker, grittier, and more realistic narrative and tone than its previous installment. A common theme with Heart of Darkness was for
Oh my
how
god,
far
he
people
killed a
would
black
go
dude
and how much
in
they would
Africa.
become like a monsters to survive and endure terrible circumstances. And another
You know, its
influence
attention span
along
will
the
not
same
live through
lines
this
was the
video. It will
novel
not.
Red Harvest.
It will not. Especially Hod. Hod is already dying. That's exactly why I picked this video. Hod is already dying. There was another one that I wanted to see, but I forgot to open it up on a new tab. Damn. Damn. And it will never show up for me ever again. This is the bad thing about the YouTube. Sometimes it recommends you something, and then it never shows ever again. It never show ever again. Just doesn't. Look, this one shows a lot, and I never watch it. For the ones that I'm like, ooh, this is interesting, and it just doesn't show. It will never show. But you guys can see here that all the videos that are recommended to me are long videos. Because unlike you kids with a brain rot and your TikTok brain, I can sit and watch. We need content manager, play character AI. No. Look at this one. This is the one that I wanted to open. You guys gonna suffer through the whole video.
Where the protagonist enters a lawless city and eliminates both sides of a deadly conflict.
QOH ASMR when? Never. No, no ASMR. I'm probably the least brain rotted viewer. That is very true, Flair. That is very true. You are probably one of the few. It's either you or Shredder. That's about it. Everyone else is just a TikTok kid, TikTok brain kid, Roblox kid.
The game's conflicts drew inspiration from events around the city of Nairobi, which were seen as emblematic of disputes in Africa. And moving away even further from Far Cry 1, the game's protagonist, Jack Carver, would not be featured as players did not, remember him.
At least you are, Mark. True. And I am very thankful for that. Generally avoid the brain rot material, as you should. As you should. Just don't do it.
Him or, they did not even dislike him because he was just so forgettable. Instead, Far Cry 2 went for a more...
Look at the face of the mercenary.
So
look at the...
forgettable. Instead...
Look at the face of the mercenary. What's his name? Paul Ferenc. Oh my goodness. 34. I'm older than him. Nationalized Israeli. POB, Budapest, Hungary. He's 5'11". He's taller than me. He's taller than me. 170 pounds. Damn. Blue eyes. What is it? Corporal IDF. Retired. Retired at 34. Contraband smuggler.
Far Cry 2 went for a more...
What is this old man here? 45? He's more my age range. Mauritian. What is a Mauritian? You also built a new gaming chair? You built the chair? The whole chair? Did you bought the parts and build it up? From the screen to the ring to the pen to the king? Damn. And Flair immediately fall to the brain rot. Hard dingles the brain rot and Flair just like just goes on. The assistant superintendent. My man was a office worker and became a mercenary. Kenya. What the hell is a Kenya GSU? Rail security officer. Counter piracy officer. Darfur. Oh my god, he is tall, 6 feet tall.
Blank slate approach, with a silent protagonist route to help the player get more immersed in the game. The buddies, or well, you know, the choosable characters, deliberately varied in age and ethnicity.
Is he blind in one eye? Oh, he's Irish. He's just winking.
Reflecting real-life mercenaries who come from all corners of the earth wherever there is money to be made. The developers wanted the game design, as with the narrative, to maintain a realistic...
This is a cool shot. This is a cool shot. From the gat to the riz to the hawk to the toi. I just decided to make my own version just because I had a neural brain activation and had to put in the parody of that song. Damn. Should I watch the video and resist the urge to blast compass? Or do I blast compass? You blast. You always blast. This is the kind of stuff that we don't have much more in games, is the idea of these cinematic moments that are gonna set the tone.
Tone and style throughout the player's experience, the opposite of the first game, which was more, you know, unrealistic and unserious. The developers wanted to incorporate the African environment, guns jamming during combat, and show a realistic version
oh, weapons do jam, and oh, that's interesting.
Of the land that needed to be cleaner and more sterile. The player, mercenary's body, is
at least full speed forward towards your heart, full speed towards your heart.
Healing animations, which was a request to promote the player's immersion into the world. And the minimal...
Oh, fuck was that? Did my man just... It
was a request to promote the player's immersion into the world.
It pokes the hole! It pokes the hole! The healing in Far Cry... Morty? No, Morty. Morty. It means death. In this case, I bet it's Spanish. But it's the same word in PTBR.
And the minimal tutorial section was a deliberate choice, with lead designer Pierre Rivest saying the team wanted players to learn and combine the systems in their own way naturally. So it was quite clear that the developer's vision was to make the game as realistic and immersive for the player as possible.
Light trace raying. Look at this. People nowadays are like, oh my gosh, the lighting. Ya, ya, ya. No me hablar español, por favor. No me habla. No habla español, señor. Please. Ay, ay, ay. Tequila, tequila. Oh, your fault, you say? What fault? I dare say it's all thanks to me. True. Look at the lighting, guys. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Look at the light. And people nowadays are like, oh my gosh, the lighting nowadays is so good. Look at this.
And immersive
it's a fucking old game.
The player as possible. Of course, this would get praise.
When I should draw in MS Paint,
but
I
more about that later. After arriving in the town and catching malaria, you are bedridden.
How do you catch malaria like that? That's not how malaria works. Draw an enkephaline box. Wait, let me. How do I? Paint. Paint. I need to change. I need to change the window. A box. A box. A box. Go down and go here. I don't remember the. Wait. Enkephaline. Enkephaline box. Okay, it's this. A little ball. A little ball. Go up. And then it's green. It's green, right? It's green, right? Manager of DeviantArt artist. I am. I am. Best thing you will ever see. Oh yeah, there it's green. Okay. But first, we need to do this. Wait, let me look at it. Okay. Then we have this. There's the ball, in which you can see the enkephaline. And then I want the thick one. How do I do the thick one? This one? Yeah, there we go. I'm an artist, guys. Look. I'm amazing at painting. There we go. I'm incredible. I'm a true artist. You guys never knew it. You guys never knew it. Never gonna recognize my brilliance. And there is the red thing here, which is a little bit thinner. A little bit thinner. It's gonna be this one. No. That is wrong. Oops. But I need you to be bigger. How do I? Oh, like this. Okay. Gotta paint this red very carefully. See, guys, I'm a true artist. I'm a Picasso, the Brazilian. Look. All in one go. Paint everything. I'm not dropping. I'm not dropping it. Here we go. Red paint everything. You guys didn't know. You guys don't know nothing. I am a true artist. This is better than any modern art you've ever seen. And you better not say otherwise. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. Cover all the white. There we go. Huh? 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 Draw pregnant Gregor. Manager is our grandpa. My mom is Fugwe. Manager's Fugwe's father. Manager have fox ears. Confirmed. Confirmed. Probably stream soon. About 5 would be the time I will stream. Very nice. A furry? Never will be. Never will be. I will never be a furry. What is this? PE. Now this is yellow. So we gotta put yellow. Put you. This is big enough. And we paint it yellow. Chooch. This is yellow. Perfect. Perfectly painted. Because I am incredible. And I can do no wrong. Yellow, yellow. And then yellow over here. And yellow over here. There we go. Perfect. And then there's more. We painted the red. We need to put here. There is a thing here. What is it again? PE. So there's a P and a E on the corner. There you go. I am incredible. I am incredible. The hell is Kaiju Paradise? Wait, Kaiju Paradise sounds like a... You're not drinking that? What do you mean? Of course you are. Put the Jack Daniels on it. It's a hentai game, isn't it? I think I've heard of it. It's a hentai game, isn't it? It is a hentai game, isn't it? It's a Roblox game that has furry transformation stuff. I haven't played. Oh, it's a Roblox game. Roblox game. Why?
Guerrilla.
Oh shit.
Warfare.
Oh shit. I clicked on the wrong thing. It's good that it transitions directly to the thing. Gorilla jump scare? Exactly. Far Cry True doesn't matter. The guys, it takes too long to get to the point.
Might not seem obvious at first, but if you think about it, it's basically the perfect environment for a video game. There's violence, strategy, stealth,
Limbo.
looting, and tons of variety. First, let me describe what I'm talking about. An insurgency is a violent armed rebellion by small, lightly armed bands who practice guerrilla warfare against a larger authority.
Yeah.
The key descriptive feature of insurgency is its asymmetric nature. Small, irregular forces face a large, well-equipped, regular...
That's the thing. The smaller force is usually funded by rich people.
military force. Because of this asymmetry, insurgents avoid large-scale direct battles, opting instead to blend in with the civilian population, where they gradually expand territorial control and military forces. Insurgency is frequently hinged on control of and collaboration with local populations.
It's so funny the way that you guys say guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla? Why do you guys say guerrilla? It's guerrilla. Guerrilla. Or guerrilla, if you will. But you guys say guerrilla. It's guerrilla warfare. Gorilla. Gorilla. That's PT. That's Portuguese from Portugal. Gorilla. Gorilla. Urpush. Gorilla. Yeah, I was saying guerrilla warfare because the gorilla had a weapon. The gorilla had a weapon, yes. Never give a weapon to a gorilla. It never ends well.
The moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger.
Yeah.
This is Master Chief. He'll be reading from Art of War for me. For a game to truly deliver as a guerrilla experience, it needs one thing. You walk in the front door and you shoot everyone, you should usually die. All the IEDs, Molotovs, and bushes in the world don't mean anything when plan A of left click until win doesn't receive any negative feedback.
That's the dream.
I'll get to you later. For an authentic guerrilla experience, the tools of asymmetric warfare need to be...
We all know what happens next after giving an ape a weapon. Oh yeah. Yep. Ape strong together. That's what happens.
mandatory. The enemy better weapons, better vehicles, more numbers.
World of
That
Ape,
way,
yeah.
solutions to problems have to be creative. Insurgents globally are known for creative use of minimal material and manpower.
What they would do is they would set up 10 mortar systems in like one location. And the day before, they would take each mortar and put it in a bucket of water and then freeze it. So what they would do is they would set up like 10 mortar tubes, get them relatively zeroed, and then bail. And then throughout the day, as the ice begins to melt, the mortars start sliding down the tubes and going off. If the US does counter battery fire, there's nothing there to hit. They hit a bunch of empty mortar tubes.
I guess, yeah.
Another staple is the use of
What? That's the kind of stuff that you would think. What? What is this idea? What is this idea? It sounds so much like the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War. Was the graphic similar to Cyberpunk? It's either that or it's just a game from the same year. That just shows you that stuff gets linear over time. The whole thing of graphics, there is a limit to it, right? There is a limit, and people have to accept that there is a limit to graphics. So we have to just, just stay stable.
hit and run tactics. For it to work in games, it's important to have priority targets that can be engaged without having to take on an entire force. Maybe it's a guy you need to assassinate. Maybe it's a tank you need to blow up. Maybe it's a bank you need to rob. None of these require open combat, and all of them open up extensive options for planning, strategizing,
Mario
and
Kart Night for
dynamically
me now.
executing
Wish
with
me
tons
luck.
of replayability.
You're gonna
In the
win.
majority of insurgencies, the insurgent group doesn't have the manpower to fully destroy their enemy. And instead, they need to turn the population against their enemies and or make holding land and resources so difficult and expensive that
See ya,
it isn't worth
Flair.
continuing.
Thank you for
Taliban
stopping
didn't
by
destroy the
and
United
hanging
States
out.
military, but 20 years after the most powerful military in the world invaded, they run the government of Afghanistan. Few AAA games have done a great job with this topic, but if any has, it's Ghost of Tsushima. One of the central themes of the game is how its protagonist, Jin Sakai, deals with the idea that he needs to violate his own code of honor to win against the people invading his country. The game
Damn.
doesn't just do this in the story, however. It has a fantastic combat system, but on its highest difficulty, it is brutal. Enemies can kill
Damn.
you extremely quickly, which gives you carte blanche as the player to abuse every tool you have access to. Simple combinations like smoke bombs and chain assassinations
My man is a ninja. There's no Ankyphiling ASMR? No.
allow you to get 3 kills per bomb with basically no risk of damage from the enemy. While this might seem boring or unfair on the surface, look how many enemies you're up against. Same applies to stealth. Walking in the front door and announcing your presence is a mechanic in this game, and if you have the skill, you can do it. But for most people, scaling the sides, poisoning archers, and slipping a Tanto into unaware guards is vital to success. It also feeds the other way.
It's interesting when the game requires you to be stealthy, but the game needs to be good at it for it to be really important.
6 guards are together, I can shoot 1 in the head, chain assassinate 2, finish off a terrified 3rd, and shoot another in the head all before I even pull out my sword. This allows for gameplay variety, encourages the use of tools, and reinforces the theme all at the same time.
Rapidity is the essence of war. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness, make your way by unexpected routes, and attack unguarded spots.
Compare this to Spider-Man PS4. That game has stealth and tools as well, but the combat
Everybody says that the Ghost of Tsushima? Yeah, that was Ghost of Tsushima. If I could, I would play that game, but unfortunately I cannot. Would I be good at the game? No, absolutely not. I absolutely suck at like Dark Souls-esque kind of game.
That isn't nearly as challenging, and the stealth is basically automated. It literally tells you when it's safe to attack. Which means when it comes to encounters, your options are to use the pretty fun combat system, skip past it using boring stealth, or spam gadgets to get it all over with faster. It's also worth mentioning that in Ghost
Spider-Man completely annihilating these people. It's just like... Why did that sound like Master Chief? Because it is Master Chief.
of Tsushima, it's possible to break contact and get back into stealth after a fight has been started. This allows you to take fights with small groups, disappear, and return to strike at another weak point. Hit and run, would you look at that? Far Cry 2 isn't a game about insurgency, but it's absolutely filled to the brim with guerrilla tactics. As a gun for hire in a fictional African country, you're here to find this guy and kill him. Just about everyone you run into is trying to kill you. This isn't just set dressing like in other games. In the game's infamous difficulty, you can get gunned down pretty quick, and before the PC version made the horrific mistake of adding quick saves, traveling the map and managing your life was a major mechanic. The only way to save on release is clearing out safe houses throughout the map, and fast travel is limited to these bus stations. This may sound boring to some.
That's interesting. That's interesting. If moving through the map is well done, imagine you need to watch Master Chief teaches you how to change the oil on your 2006 Nissan Murano. No. What are you guys watching? What are you guys I'm gonna search and find Hitler's speech in English and watch that. YouTube will annihilate my channel immediately.
Some it is, but you won't be traveling alone. Throughout the map are checkpoints, and more dangerously, the roads are patrolled by hostile factions. Many of them with 50 cals mounted to the back of their jeeps.
Oh my
and
goodness.
The time between your detection and your death can be rapid. This incentivizes staying away from roads and using the environment to get around
Holy
enemies.
moly.
You can also use the environment to stage attacks. Pop shots from the tree line to soften your advance. Launch mortars from a hill or predict movements.
Boom.
Enemies in this game don't just sit behind cover and fire you, and they don't run at you in a straight line. They spread out, they flank, and they communicate with each other. Let me share some anecdotes, and unfortunately I lost the clips. I was driving down a path when I locked eyes with an enemy machine gun. I turned my vehicle into a nearby rock so I could use it and my car for cover. Realizing they would come to me eventually, I threw an IED down next to the car and used the rock as cover to make it to the wood line. I waited until I saw one of them cross the car, and I detonated it. I don't know how many died of the explosion and how many died in the fire it caused, but they all died. That's what mattered. I was driving and came head-on with a vehicle with a gun turret. I jumped out and quickly drew my sidearm to fire at the gunner. That didn't work, so I pulled out the rifle I had scavenged from a nearby battle. I only got a few rounds off, but it took out the gunner. Fortunately, the gun exploded in my hands, so I drew my empty pistol and realized my mistake. After taking a round or two, I ripped out my machete and killed the driver with it, knocking him to the ground and finishing him off. I pulled out my pliers, ripped the bullet out of my leg, and looked around. I'd overstayed my welcome. It was time to move. This kind of grittiness is a rarity in games like these. Even in later entries to this series. All of it serves to make moving further into the jungle tense and dangerous. The further you are from a safe house, the lower your ammo count gets, the rustier your gun gets, the lower on syringes you get, the more progress you'll lose if you die. Tied into that system is buddies. One of the characters you didn't choose to play as at the beginning can be rescued and turned into your buddy. On occasion, you'll bump into these guys at safe house.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's why there's many, what is it called? Mercenaries to pick in the beginning.
When you go down in combat, they'll cinematically drag you to a safer location. In a way, this functions as an extra life, which helps soften the punishing save system. However, these buddies are people too, so in the aftermath of saving you, they can get shot, and it costs one of your threats to heal them. And if you don't have one, the game tells you that if you don't have a syringe, you can leave them to their fate. Or press 2 to pull out your sidearm. But it's not just the game telling you that. The buddies will beg you to kill them, and it's kind of hard to watch. And the game is so geniusly designed that even though they don't have a ton of character, you'll still be emotionally invested, because to even be in this situation, they had to have saved your life. And mechanically, if you're seeing this, it means the game is about to get harder for you, because they won't be around to save you next time. We're going to talk about other games that feature a much more story connection between you and your allies, but I think most of them pale in comparison to the mechanical utility and vibe that these buddies provide.
That's interesting. That is quite interesting, especially the fact that if you end them, they're gone.
Another place this foundation excels in is making tough decisions. The game has limited weapon slots, but different weapons fit in different slots, so the combinations can be more specialized or more broad. You can't cover everything at once. Snipers and basic assault rifles occupy the same slot, so if you want to make precision shots at range, you'll have to sacrifice your bread and butter to extend your reach. IEDs occupy the pistol slot, so if you bring a sniper and bombs, you'll want something like a 249 in your special slot to fight in close quarters, but that means no rocket launcher. You can bring a mortar with you, and while it's a pretty powerful weapon, its use is really unintuitive, so you need to find your own rule of thumb for sighting it. You can use your map or try to use your sniper scope, but that means you'll need the sniper. See how many considerations there are? Tactics aside for the moment, let's look at...
I to this day, I still don't know how people shoot with mortars. I honestly don't know how it works.
a more social.
I know it's about the grid location and what is it called? Translate angles and the grid location on the map.
Revolution.
But
Watch
still,
Dogs Legion is a game that has a compelling setup for an insurgency. Large tech companies with third-party help frame a hacker group for a false flag parliament bombing. They use this attack as an excuse to ramp up police presence and essentially convert the United Kingdom into a police state. Of course, we can't be killing police officers, so they've all been replaced with a private security firm. There's gotta be a joke here about using private contractors to avoid culpability. The main gimmick this time is that you can play as anyone, and when everyone's playable, no one will be. Plus, it's Ubisoft, so nothing interesting will be done with this on a gameplay level. Almost every ability is a small piece of what the last two protagonists could do, so unless the character is a silenced pistol or a nice rifle or something, you won't care who you're playing as. There's also no coordination, no legion, as it were. EMT isn't a healer when there's no one to heal, and the concept of
it's Watch Dogs. What did you expect? It's a bad game. It was always a bad game. It's an awful game. No. Just no.
a getaway driver sort of requires the minimum of two people. Despite the story telling you over and over again, along with the ChatGPT generated skinwalker people you play as constantly jerking each other off about how evil the bad guys are, you won't see them doing much actual harm around the game world. You'd think an authority,
Which is, again, narratively speaking, that's why it's so bad. It's so difficult to make games truly about insurgency and freedom fighters, because most of the time they will only tell you about the evil. It goes back to Canto 5 with Ishmael always never first of all, she when she talks is when she says that Ahab is a bitch and Ahab is evil, and Ahab is such a awful person, and blah, blah, blah. But we never get to see that happening. The only moment that Ahab is a true evil character is at the very end, when she sacrifices her crew so she can get to the heart. She actively sacrifices them. She doesn't tells them and convinces them to sacrifice themselves. She do it herself. But that is the only moment in the whole story that she does it. No, that doesn't convince me. Ahab did nothing wrong. Ahab did nothing wrong, unfortunately. You're gonna have to show me stuff. Show me. If you don't show me, then your accusations fall flat.
authoritarian police state would put down protests and clean up graffiti a bit more, but they're just as inclined to watch it happen with blank stares than they are to do anything about it. Not that any of them are particularly motivated to do their job, considering if you gun down someone who bullied them in high school or something, they'll immediately join your insurgent terrorist group, and be perfectly willing to murder people they worked with yesterday. Wait, why are you here? This game suffers from tonal whiplash, where it has split-second moments of seriousness that are punctuated by shitty jokes by a British robot.
You know, statistically speaking, smoking is more likely to kill you than any dead-sec hop. So,
statistically speaking, this should make me harder to kill.
You're playing on
My gosh. My gosh. I didn't thought the game could be even worse, and it got even worse.
permadeath and you lose a character you've played with for 10 hours, or Aiden Pierce gets gunned down or something, this motherfucker will dab on his corpse with the worst fucking joke you've ever heard.
unfortunately, that piece of your heart isn't the only thing that died. Anyway, you're up.
Watch Dogs 2 abandoned the first game's
What?
dark tone, but at least it had a decency to commit to its tone. Legion is the perfect example of a game that doesn't take the correct tact with its subject matter, and it has dark moments, but it never commits to the dystopia. Games in this genre don't like how blurred the line between freedom fighter and terrorist is, and they try to make the good guys so
Yeah, but they are always terrorists.
overtly the good guys that they eliminate the drama and moral dilemmas that this premise creates.
Wait, do you control the old lady? What is this game?
Watch Dogs Legion is the worst of the batch in my opinion, because it has the world to support the social parts of a revolution, but it doesn't bother with it. You don't blackmail Albion to let you walk in the front gate, you don't kill them and take their uniforms, you just help them with their taxes or something. But what is missing from the depiction of insurgencies we're getting from AAA gaming? I'm going to spoil the Star Wars show Andor, but I won't spoil the major arcs, I'm just going to spoil a side plot that illustrates my point. This man, Luthen Rael, is a primary mastermind behind what eventually becomes the Rebel Alliance. His goal throughout the season is to gain allies and finances and to strike at the Empire. We don't know his specific motivation, but what we do know is his goal of dismantling the Empire is immovable to him. No sacrifice is too great, and nothing will stop him. Part of the way through the season, he tries to convince a partisan leader, Saw Gerrera, to provide air support to a separatist group led by
Lies! Every day! More lies!
someone named Anton Krieger. Saw rejects him because of their differences in politics.
They're lost! All of them lost! Lost!
A while after this, Luthen is made aware that the ISB, the Empire equivalent of the CIA, is aware of the upcoming attack because of a mole Luthen has in their organization. Next time Luthen meets with Gerrera, he has changed his mind and decides he wants to help Krieger after all. Luthen tells the truth to Gerrera. He's going to let Krieger go straight into an ambush in order to protect his source. This is a cold-blooded calculation, yes, but that doesn't mean Luthen isn't affected by it. Watch this exchange.
30 men. Plus Krieger.
Luthen isn't trying to minimize what he's doing. He's fully aware that these men's lives are in his hands, and he feels the weight of each of them. It's a compelling question. Would you risk the years you've spent cultivating a source at the heart of your enemy's intelligence network to save 30 men?
Plus Krieger.
These kinds of choices are perfect on a narrative level, making you ask moral questions and answer for the consequences, or they could be actual mechanical calculations made on a strategy level. Maybe in a hypothetical game you can get sources for enemy intelligence, but taking overt action based on them puts them at risk. Another moment I want to look at is from the intro to Rogue One. Cassian Andor gets information from a spy that an important member of the Empire is defected. Soon after, they're forced to flee and the spy is falling behind. Andor shoots the informant to protect the intelligence. You can make an ethical argument that the Empire would torture him and he's protecting him from that, but I think that is a rationalization that...
Nah, he's just being an asshole. Because the quote-unquote freedom fighters are actually just a bunch of terrorists.
Comes afterward. Andor saw that the intelligence was at risk, so he killed his ally in cold blood. That isn't meant to paint Andor as an immoral person, but it gives the audience the opportunity to ask questions. The Empire is certainly more evil than any version of the rebellion.
Is it? Is it though?
But what
Oh, they blew up a planet. Oh, shut up.
lines are too far to cross, even for a heroic cause? If you ask the writers of Far Cry 6 what single word defines it, they would almost certainly say guerrilla.
A guerrilla's revolution never ends. A good guerrilla is a hidden guerrilla. Guerrillas live, train, and plan. Black market dealers. These safe havens got everything a guerrilla needs.
And while the story insists you're a struggling band of fighters and the weapon upgrades are assembled from random bits of garbage Fallout 4 style, gameplay and writing could not fail to deliver this tone any harder. On occasion, we will see violence committed by the antagonist, Gustavo Muzzle Fringolini, and it's usually got a genuine horror to it that I kind of respect. But if the good guys are doing violence, not only is it completely devoid of any moral weight, it doesn't even take a toll on the characters at all. Far Cry 3 was a game about an adrenaline junkie.
Imagine you have a pet alligator. I need to charge my phone. Be right back. Take your time. You have a pet alligator, and you put a shirt on it, and you want me to take you seriously.
Becoming addicted to violence.
You know, I never thought I'd be able to kill someone. The first time it felt wrong. Which is good, right? But now, it feels like winning.
Far Cry 4 was about a tourist turned revolutionary who dismantled tyranny only to be forced to choose between a despot who forces civilians to farm opium at gunpoint or a religious fundamentalist pedophile who plans to marry the 14-year-old the first one wants to kill. Violence in these games is fun.
Pedophilia has a scientific definition. And I won't expand on that because you guys are all sentimental.
But it's a dark fun. Questions you when you're done. When I say that at the end of the tutorial, the main character of Far Cry 6 confesses to a guerrilla leader that they enjoy killing, it may sound like we're doing Far Cry 3 again, but we're not.
Do you want to kill Anton? See. You want to free Yara? Sure you do. But here's what Clara can't say, but you and I both know. You want this. You're a guerrilla. And for a guerrilla, the shit my pants rush of an ambush, the smell of sulfur burning your nostrils, it's fun.
Far Cry 3 said that killing felt like winning. Far Cry 6 says that killing bad guys is fun. End of sentence. Doesn't go deeper than that. They are bad, we are killing them, it's goofy and it's funny. We have a rocket backpack that blows up.
This, oh my gosh. I didn't know that you had this in Far Cry 6. This is ridiculous.
Tanks. We have a pet alligator named Guapo.
Look at this. Guapo. I cannot. There is a dog. I think, yeah, it's the second one is Chorizo. He's a dog. Oh my gosh. This is so stupid. It's a paralytic dog that doesn't have his back paws, and then he has those wheels in the back. It's a dog. It's a paralytic dog.
Guapo that eats our enemies. He burps up their limbs. Isn't that fun? We have a record player gun that shoots records that dismember people. Not only is it more effective than a normal firearm, isn't it fun? Far Cry 3 and 4, you put a machete through a man's neck and watch the life leave his eyes. Far Cry 6, you whack him with it like it's a baseball bat as his body floats in the air. Isn't that fun? Gus Fring wants his son to kill a captured revolutionary because he's evil. The son has good in him, so he refuses. In order to teach the son a lesson, the man is brutally beaten. Wait, you can unlock a crippled wiener dog who distracts enemies.
Look at it.
Teach the son a lesson, the man is brutally beaten. Wait, you can unlock a...
Look at it! Oh gosh. You go from mutants in an island all the way to a religious fanatic that pokes fun of Christianity on Far Cry 5, and then we turn to this. We turn to a crippled dog.
A crippled wiener dog who distracts enemies with how cute he is. Isn't that fun? Tone isn't just inconsistent for the series, it's inconsistent within minutes of itself. The fun cutscene and the torturing a dude in a jail cell cutscene happened back to back. Even if the tone was there, the gameplay doesn't deliver either. This game shares more DNA with Destiny than it does with Far Cry, in inexplicable ways. The game literally lets you alt, there's a third-person mission hub, the ammo system is immediately defeated by giving you a flesh-round gun and an armor-piercing gun immediately. The game just gives you a custom-modified car you could spawn at any time.
Look at the car.
And ignoring all that, the game is just really easy. Well, it's not that inexplicable.
Far Cry 6 was originally designed as a game of service. It was originally designed with like one of the pillars being multiplayer burst. And then we start to see the market going, ooh, a little bit shaky on the game of service, and then the scope of Far Cry 6 was huge, and then Far Cry 6 didn't have a creative director to add to it, and they go like, you know what, let's make just a solid Far Cry.
I had to mod in a
solid Far Cry? A solid Far Cry.
A 3x multiplier to my damage and my enemy's damage to get the spongy combat to stop before the tutorial was even over. Remember how in Far Cry 2 you made decisions between different weapons and different slots? Now, there's no choice to be made at all. Need a sniper rifle? Press the escape key. Want a flamethrower? Pause and grab one. Running low on meds? Oh, just wait a second. They regenerate. There's no scarcity. There's no threat. There's just nothing. On the other hand, let's talk about Homefront: The Revolution. This game was hated at launch for its bad performance and for being budget Far Cry, but it's aged better than you might think. This game is...
I have never been able to play the original Homefront. And I have it. I have it on Steam. And it does not run on my PC. It just doesn't open. The game just does not open. I believe it doesn't even install correctly.
Is dedicated to its subject matter. Hit and run tactics are explicitly encouraged by the game, and implicitly encouraged by its mechanics. There are vehicles, drones, and airships patrolling the streets, and oftentimes you won't have enough resources to take on multiple large engagements without resupply. This means if you dynamically come across an assassination target and you only have one magazine, a pipe bomb, and a Molotov, you might need to throw what you have and save the ammo for enemies in your escape path. The world building is the best I've seen in this genre. There are red no-go zones that have heavy conflict, and there are yellow zones with civilian life going on. The yellow zones push the hit-and-run tactics further, since you can close the distance by blending in with the civilian population. The chase system is similar to the original Assassin's Creed, with a notoriety meter that drains faster and marks hiding spots. And the environmental storytelling? Man.
We're here to be treated. No cutting on the line. No wandering into the surgery. Cover your mouth when coughing.
Is it good? They're rebel-run clinics with a room off to the side to temporarily house the bodies. Civilians have open sores and cuts on their bodies. Sickly-looking women
It's a prostitute.
will offer themselves to you for money. Plywood market stalls and parks will brag that they have the best functioning batteries for sale in Philly. And the music sells all of it. The strings cry for the people that have stopped bothering to.
That's a nice little robot.
Every second in these streets bleeds tragedy. At the beginning of the game, civilians will basically tell you to fuck off when they recognize you as resistance. From their perspective, you just make things harder for them. When the crackdowns come, when the doors get kicked in, they have to deal with the consequences.
Brady, it's Burnett. I've heard what you and Ned are doing, stirring up trouble here in Alston. You ever stop to think about the consequences? People are gonna get killed, Brady. The KPA won't stop to discriminate.
Keep out.
They'll do whatever it takes to crush disorder. You have no right to risk innocent lives. I don't care how important your cause. You have no right.
Many games have a liberation meter or some equivalent. In this game, it's called Hearts and Minds. Many of the side activities aren't just assassinations or clearing outposts. Some want you to take pictures of the North Koreans oppressing the populace, or hijack a radio station. And not all capture points are military sites. Sometimes, you just need to get a door unlocked so you can set up an outpost inside a building. Unlike most games that go for this idea, you don't get the people on your side and then suddenly blue flags get put up and we control the area now. Once the people in the area are on your side, that's when the real work begins. You signal to rise up, and the major hostile areas in the district become available. This explains how one guy fights all these outposts, but it also makes it feel like the revolution progresses. Unlike many of these games where it feels like you're the only one participating in the conflict. You can then recruit AI help, and the citizenry set fire to the streets. You'll hear gunfire from around corners and find your allies moving through the area. Remember that radio call I mentioned? After I initiated the revolt, I met the man who called me. He was a doctor in that clinic I also mentioned, and here's what he had to say.
Take a look. Take a good look. This is your doing. You and Ned stirred up trouble in the zone. And this is the price? People, Brady. Innocent people. All this fine talk about revolution. But it's always the ordinary people who suffer.
Additionally, some objectives are darker.
Which is absolutely true. It is absolutely true. Everyone thinks it's so beautiful to be, oh, let's be a revolutionary, let's be the resistance, and let's be the resistance fighters, and we are freedom fighters. We are freedom fighters. But everyone forgets that there is civilians out there that has nothing to do with it, and they are the ones being oppressed. Not the freedom fighters. They are the ones that are going to pay for the stuff that the freedom fighters do, and usually they are the collateral damage of the freedom fighters. Nobody takes that in consideration.
Than the ones I mentioned earlier. Set 5 hostiles on fire with Molotovs to show them that they need to be afraid too. To show them their superior tech doesn't matter, kill 10 of them with a crossbow. It's not the most amazing quest design imaginable, but it says something about the cause you're fighting for. They are absolutely justified in revolution. That doesn't mean their hands are clean. When you first enter a yellow zone, you're told to blend in, use the civilians as cover. You can call it a poor choice of words, but it betrays how dirty the resistance is willing to fight in order to free their country.
But they're always like that. Every single resistance is always like that. They will always use the civilians that they say that they're fighting for their tactics. Always, 100% of the time.
It's not the best game I've ever played. The shooting is fine. There's bugs all over the place. The enemy AI isn't exactly fear, but it works, and inhabiting its world is the best thing it brings to the table. When it comes to tone, this is the definitive insurgency game. Let me show you another clip. After liberating my first yellow zone, we take over the police station to get intel on where the resistance leader is being held. When we get inside, they've all been killed. We gained a city block. That is all. And the doctor has one more question for us.
I'm sorry about Ned's men. Their murder violates every convention on the treatment of prisoners. But it means you caused all this bloodshed for nothing. At least the supplies you got me let me treat a lot of people. They won't get a chance to thank you, so I'm doing it for them. But ask yourself, was it worth it?
Here's the part where I show my hand. In my opinion, there are 2 major factors preventing these games from reaching their true potential. The first answer is boring. Publishers are risk averse. Therefore, they try to make the safest product available. But that's why everything sucks. You already knew that. Let's talk about the other part. Politics.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I'm going to describe this phenomenon as neutrally as I can. I'm not making value judgments in this section.
As they always do, because they never have any stance.
I'm simply describing things as I see them to exist. Any lame politics posting will receive a comment by me with this emoji, meaning they have posted cringe and are therefore banished to the mega gay zone. Questions? No? Fantastic. AAA video games are generally developed in Western countries, especially in the United States of America. Most countries developing AAA video games have at some point in the last 20-ish years participated in the global war on terror.
America!
This means for video games is that Western culture is used to seeing their own military performing counterinsurgencies against insurgencies. This also means that the tactics used in insurgencies, even the less morally questionable ones, are aesthetically tied to terrorism abroad. Which means something like Homefront the Revolution has to have a nonsensical premise. North Korean takeover in Homefront is caused by America's economy downturning to the point that they borrow a bunch of money from North Korea and then
which is a funny idea. Borrowing money from North Korea.
Default on the debt. Even if that somehow happened in our reality, we would still crush them with military might. But the game has an answer for that too. We bought all our guns from them, and they have a way to turn them off. Okay, I don't believe there would be a mechanism for doing that we wouldn't be aware of, but even then, North Korea is a population of 26 million people. That includes women and children. The state of Texas has 30 million people. Sorry, bro, this is absolutely not happening. The economic downturn the game shows could have just happened. And when the people elected a strongman to try to put the pieces together, he had the other branches of government killed and took power for himself. But that could sound like social commentary, so no dice. Far Cry 5 has a similar problem. Far Cry in America, that's a pretty exciting prospect. A modern American revolution is a cool concept for a game. But wait, we're going to make a game where you shoot American police officers? Well, Grand Theft Auto does that. But in Grand Theft Auto, you're a bad guy. And they've been dealing with controversies since I can remember. You want Ubisoft to make a game where murdering cops is moral? Again, the police in Watch Dogs Legion aren't even cops. They're so not cops that the police cars don't even have blue lights on them. Sure, they patrol the streets and enforce laws and have cars with lights.
My dude just straight up punched the guy.
And sirens. But they're not cops, because killing cops would be political. So how does Far Cry 5 deal with this problem? Oh, a cult just took over an entire county. Well, couldn't you just call for help? No, they destroyed the phone lines. Okay, well, couldn't you just leave? No, they set up a perimeter. Okay, well, we're fighting a war against them with explosives and rockets and stuff. Couldn't we just find a weak spot in the perimeter and attack it? No. Okay, well, we have access to planes. Couldn't we just fly away? No, but be quiet. Far Cry 5 does do some interesting things with its villains. I don't want to harp on it too much. It's a fun game, but the setup is obviously insane. The funniest part is that you literally play as a cop. Of course, you never have to factor in the law and you constantly murder people, but you use a baseball bat instead of a machete now, so I guess this is legal. And let me make this clear. You don't have to have any political perspective to find this topic engaging or interesting. Any angle can be taken. Doing bad things to succeed. Is it an unfortunate reality we have to accept? Or does using the ends to justify the means mean pushing people away from us and weakening our coalition? Maybe it's both. Maybe more extreme violent acts rally your forces and make your enemies more likely to go along with blackmail, while more humane acts push people to your cause and convince moderates to financially and politically support you. Is revolution a based epic fight against oppression, or are we just as bad when we stoop to their level? The outside-in trick that...
You always end up being as bad as them. There's no way.
Games usually pull eliminate an entire aspect of revolution. When all the bad guys are torture-loving psychopaths or crazed cult members, their lives don't have moral consideration, and the morally gray aspects of insurgency are left completely off the table. Maybe you need access to a building to plant a bomb. Maybe you get a hold of someone that has access, but he's loyal to the enemy. Now you need to decide, can you live with torturing a civilian in order to make your assault easier? It could cost the lives of your troops, or even the operation if you don't. What if you do it, and then word gets out and you have to deal with those consequences? Maybe you find out that evidence that could lead back to one of your cells is stored in a police station. Maybe one of the easier options to eliminate the evidence is to blow the building up. Maybe a clerk was staying after hours and she dies in the blast. Complicated situations and consequences are the name of the game here. And now we have a problem. Who could make a game that executes on this concept without having to compromise the setup to avoid controversy and backlash from shareholders? Oh yeah, that's right.
Mods. Exactly. That's the thing that came to me immediately. The only people that are able to make insurgency freedom fighters decently is Armor 3 mods.
Never mind. Got him. Arma 3 Antistasi appears to me to be the most detailed insurgency simulator ever created. Two major factions, by default NATO and CSAT, are in conflict over whatever map you picked, and you are the citizenry stuck in the middle. Your goal is to acquire weapons, vehicles, munitions, manpower, and support in order to establish an insurgency and take back your land. Obviously, the base of Arma 3 being a combat sim comes with a lot of features that make this experience more compelling. This game has extremely long sightlines, multiple very large maps, mixes of urban and rural combat, as well as combined arms vehicle combat. When my 6-man squad armed with SKS rifles had a fast mover fly overhead, the feeling of being hopelessly outgunned was captivating, if not terrifying. The basics of how the game works add to the logistics of insurgency very well. Without radios, communications with other players and AI teammates cuts off outside of a reasonable range, meaning it's harder to coordinate larger scale ops, and if you want mortar support or something, you'll have to designate methods with your team beforehand. And if something goes wrong, you might not know about it. Similarly, without a GPS, you'll have to do actual land navigation to get from place to place.
Oh yeah.
Especially after surviving tough engagements, I've had trouble figuring out where I even am, and that just draws me in further to the experience. And dear God, do not get stuck out at night without some form of light. Darkness is dark. And all of that is before talking about Arma 3's main selling point, its massive amount of mods. This experience allows for gameplay that dynamically incentivizes almost all the things that I talked about at the beginning. You have a hideout with a leader that's extremely valuable, so you need to keep your base hidden. Your weaponry is limited, and so is your manpower, so most guides for this mode on YouTube encourage you to find some isolated cops and kill them for their weapons. And again, modders as a whole have no allegiance. You want to play as a fictional Middle Eastern country planting IEDs to blow up US Army Humvees? It's your game. You want to play as jungle communists firing rockets at Cold War GIs? Have fun. You want to blow up Russian planes so your fascist revolution can start? It's your hard drive, bro. I don't know. Another thing this mod does very well is portray escalation. Like I said at the beginning, insurgency like this is a perfect environment for a game's progression system. Each faction has an aggression level similar to GTA's STAR system, and a war level, which indicates the security posture of the enemy overall. Aggression level will indicate how much they'll throw at you in the moment, and war level indicates what type of equipment and how much manpower will go into defending locations, convoys, and patrols. I made the mistake of executing a surrendered enemy after I got lucky taking out a roadblock, and 5 minutes later in APC I was not ready for showed up. And it taught me the error of my ways. But as the enemy ramps things up, so can you. Any captured enemy equipment is completely free to use, and if you capture 25 of any item, you can use it as much as you want. This means that scavenging enemy equipment is important, and deciding whether or not to field rare equipment adds another layer of risk and strategy to the game. And of course, all of this is configurable because mods. Put this all together, and it's a recipe for some of the most dynamic situations you have ever experienced. On the way to Assassin's
Armor 3 is one of the best meal sims out there so far. They're doing the Armor Reforged, which is basically essentially Armor 4. And there's a few other out there, but this Armor 3 is the most complete one because you can mod the living shit out of it. There is Star Wars mods, there is Warhammer 40k mods, all sorts of mods. And there's all sorts of servers that you can play on. It's really good. It's really good. It does not run on my PC. I tried. My cousin gave it to me, the base game. It was like 10 Brazilian bucks on Steam, and he gave it to me. But the game does not run on my PC.
assassinate a traitor and you bump into a roadblock, react to the fight as best you can, and if most of your element survives, you just snowballed yourself.
And the game is so complete. It looks... some people are gonna be like, oh, this looks so bad, the graphics. The game is so complete, you can do basically anything. Anything. You wanna patch your own lag? Only the lag is bleeding out. You patch only the lag. You need to patch only the head. You patch only the head. There's no. You have to patch the specific part. If you're hurt, if you get shot, you may die if you get shot in the wrong place.
A 50 cal mid.
One shot.
Got a mission to blow up an ammo truck? Okay, dress as a civilian. Get the boys in the Hilux. Creep up to an observation point. Damn, that thing doesn't look very well defended. Have the boys creep up on it. Hop inside and gun it. Damn, guess those bullets are ours now. Like I said, the insurgency element is strong here. I found a YouTube Shorts gang edit of an anti-Stasi drive-by. I planted roadside IEDs and waited for convoys to arrive. And there's also quiet moments. The drive to each objective gives quiet to contrast the combat. You can bump into an enemy at any time, so it feels free and calm with a backdrop of tension the entire time. I've done airdrop missions that felt like I was playing 4x4 Evolution and ended up in an hour-long protracted gunfight. To show that I'm not manufacturing moments to prove points, let me point you to a video series by Dace Canadian. He's a fairly small channel making videos as well made his channel's 15 times his size, and I'm not joking. At the time of writing, he has 16,000 subscribers, and I bet he'll have more than me by the time this video is out. It is great stuff. After attacking an outpost, Canadian flies the loot back to his HQ. Unfortunately, because he drew so much heat, a fighter jet strafes him. No problem, he grabs his launcher and downs the thing. Unfortunately, the jet has radio built in, and the response is fairly immediate. He forgot to drop off parachutes, so he circles back to do that and finds this.
Wait, there's enemies! There's a kill squad on our base right now! We're fucked. Oh, shit.
And there it is. He wasn't clear on his way back, and they tracked him to his HQ. In addition to this, they killed his faction leader. This can be a devastating blow since it deletes 90% of your money and manpower. This means that OPSEC is an actual mechanic in this game, and you need to make sure you're not drawing attention to your base. No game accounts for as many considerations of a guerrilla war as Arma 3 does. It's
you can see. I guess mechanically speaking, it's amazing. It's incredible.
Clunky, it's not very pretty, it runs like shit, but nothing else is like it. Even considering its downsides, I think I can't recommend it highly enough. I used a performance-minded minimalist modding setup I found on Steam, and I'll have it linked in the description. This is by no means the best setup for playing the game, but this game mode is the first time I've actually enjoyed playing Arma. And most of that applies to playing solo, but once you mix in the coordination, team play, and vehicles that become more practical with more players, you can create an experience that can't be found anywhere else.
We hit the tree, and I went straight up in the air. Get away from it, it's fucking cooking off, it's cooking off.
Wait, what's cooking off?
There was bombs, I put bombs.
Speaking of unique experiences, I need to direct you to one of the funniest YouTube videos I've ever seen in my entire life. This man, Trafalgar, found himself annoyed at a large tribe in Ark using their power to oppress new players on the server. He seemingly took this very personally and vowed to make their lives a living hell. I don't want to spoil this video, so I'll show you some highlights that prove the point that these tactics aren't just set dressing. They can be useful in games that don't necessarily have them in mind. At one point, he finds a gap in their walls where they haven't finished building yet. He gains an extremely long angle on their dinosaurs. He then spends an obscene amount of time firing a revolver with hundreds of rounds in order to do enough damage to take them down, purely out of spite. Let me show you the peak of his power. Toward the end of this campaign, his enemies are playing the game less and less. It's simply not worth being harassed so significantly. At this particular moment, only one player is on from the enemy tribe, and our hero has a spy in place, simply keeping lookout. As soon as the one member leaves the base on his T-Rex to acquire more resources, Trafalgar takes to his flying dinosaur and rips the enemy off of it in an attempt to kill him. He makes it back to base and tries to wait out our dastardly insurgent. But when he comes out...
If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak, that he may grow arrogant. If he is taking his ease, give him no rest.
Damn.
If his forces are united, separate them. Attack him where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected.
If you've seen this video, you're waiting for me to bring up the fertilizer, but I won't spoil. I highly recommend checking out this video, and it'll be in the description. It's Kino, I promise. Okay, one more. This video by Harvest Z is a one-life event in the game Project Zomboid. The only objective given is to rebuild society, however you would like. A few people on the server took it upon themselves to play the villains. The primary antagonists are a group of 5 extremely competent veteran players, the Cult Clan. I'll leave their fate ambiguous, but what I will say is that they use guerrilla tactics extremely effectively, to the point that it completely demoralizes their enemies.
Cult Clan is going to come and kill all of us. They are going to come and kill everybody here.
Early on, they take an engagement with a small settlement. Both teams lose a member in the conflict, but Cult continuously strikes when they don't expect it. They sneak around buildings, and they excel at drive-by shootings. Considering they're the main threat on a server that didn't really need any violence to function, it's remarkable how much appreciation for them you can find in the comments due to their ingenuity and competence. The Cult Clan wouldn't be likable if they were a giant faction picking on little peaceful villages. They're likable because they're dedicated and skilled killers, striking far above their weight class with a decent amount of success. This is another video I cannot recommend highly enough. The point I'm trying to make with this section is that asymmetry isn't just a fun narrative.
Damn, the robot just backflipped.
Setup. It's a way to add dynamism and problem solving to any kind of game. I've already explained why I don't think we'll see more of these games from big publishers, but like with other certain topics, maybe the best we can hope for is some AA studios and modders to step in and provide some of the best experiences in gaming. If you enjoyed the video and want them to come out faster...
Yeah, he does got a point. And every single time that a big publisher tries to make some sort of insurgency, it's always corporations. It is always corporations. Because you can't go against the government. Right? You cannot go against the government. And I believe that that might be some sort of contract that the government goes into the development team, and they just like, here company, you can make whatever game you want, but you cannot attack the gov. And I remember there's a silly list, a quote-unquote anti-woke list of games, and they kind of list the games that are woke and they are not woke. It's awful. It's awfully done. They don't know what they're talking about most of the time, because they list Limbus Company as not woke, which is stupid, because it clearly is. But anyways, they have to have some sort of allegiance. Someone from the gov goes and say, hey, you cannot say anything against the government, because otherwise makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. They will never make a game in which you literally fight the government. They won't do it. They won't do it. It just doesn't work. They cannot handle it at all. No, ads! You're destroying the ads.
Despite 28 hours in Ghost Recon Breakpoint and at least 5 characters in Wildlands, I can't get these games to click with me. On paper, I should love them. Massive, gorgeous worlds with tons of difficulty options, tactical Barbie, and synchronized AI stealth headshots? It is firmly up my alley. But everything feels felt pointless, but we'll get to that. I've tried extreme difficulty, no HUD, but at the end of the day, the shooting feels mediocre, the missions are repetitive, and difficulty is only achieved through instantly being killed or removing the ability to run away, not to mention the drones and mechs in Breakpoint. A low time to kill doesn't make a game tactical or hardcore, because regardless of if you die in 10 shots or 1, 10 seconds after you're done bleeding out, you'll be back in the mission in 5 seconds from where you were previously. This doesn't lead to fear or tension, it leads to frustration. But I found the secret to enjoying these games. Wildlands, at least. Breakpoint doesn't have it. And I found this secret in Assassin's Creed Mirage. No, seriously. Assassin's Creed Mirage is one of the most 5 out of 10 games I've ever played. It is a massive improvement from the last 9-ish years of Assassin's Creed games, in my opinion. Since it focused on being a stealth game about being an assassin instead of other stuff. It's a game I like playing, but very well may never beat, because I have no interest in the story, and its gameplay loop is easy and repetitive. But they recently added a mode called Full Synchronization. This is a start-to-finish permadeath mode. But Damien, the Butter Anvil, Orphan 6'9", Shadow the Hedgehog, Westopolis, that's an open world game with dozens of quests. That's way too long to beat without dying. Then don't die, idiot. No, for real, that's actually my point. Figure out which difficulty involves you dying semi-often and go one below that. It's not about dying and feeling the punishment. It's about using the fear of the punishment to strongly encourage more tactical and in-character behavior. I'll give you an example. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, you gain notoriety when you commit crimes, mainly murder. After the first and second levels of it, civilians will start to point you out to guards. This isn't the biggest deal. Even on the hardest difficulty, 1 or 2 guards isn't much to deal with. But after you max it out, Shakira? Max it out, Shakira shows up. As long as wanted posters stay up and criers are unbribed, she can't remember to forget you, featuring Rihanna. They're immune to most range attacks, they have multiple unblockable attacks, they have throwing weapons, and they can hit you in the gap after you hit them if you don't get your timing right. In normal gameplay, if this enemy showed up, I'd just fight it out. If I win, it clears the bounty, and if I lose, I'm still just in the city like I was before. I only stand to gain by fighting. But with full sync on, I pop smoke and run away. I hit lifts, I jump across poles, I hide in water. I'm not picking a fight I don't know I can win. And this not only helps me play with a different part of the game's sandbox, it makes me act more like the character and play the game like it was intended to be played. Back to Ghost Recon. I normally play on the hardest difficulty, but I bumped it down to hard. I tried it with normal, but that was too easy. I found myself making mistakes and not really worrying about it, which...
Assassin's Creed, it makes no sense if you think about it. Because it's a dude dressed completely different from everyone else that somehow blends in.
Destroys the point of the whole thing. But I started the game and I immediately found my thought process to be more deliberate and, dare I say, immersive. When you start the game, you start near the top of a mountain with a vehicle, and without fail, every single time I've been here, I get in the truck and I try to drive down the cliff. Not this time. Too risky. I got to my objective. Instead of just walking through shooting everyone, I parked my car in a bush, crawled to a hidden position, and spent a minute or 2 droning out enemy locations. I used sync headshots with my team whenever possible, and when 3 enemies showed up, I took my time to prepare my shots. I droned the interiors of buildings. I scoped out high positions for snipers. I considered failing stealth to be failing the mission. Let me tell you another story from the early game. I was assigned to defend a rebel broadcast while the cartel sent men to destroy it. I placed myself close to the objective, but it was too close. Enemies showed up on 2 sides and pincered me. As they swarmed me, 2 of my ghosts went down and I took a round or 2 myself. My health was worrisome, so I pulled back behind a building while enemies swarmed the objective. I thought about pushing through to save it, but I couldn't risk going down, so I pulled back, ran up the hill, commandeered a vehicle, and drove away from the cartel's rifle fire, failing the mission.
Run!
And god damn, it was so much more interesting than a mediocre third-person gunfight. How about my first near-death experience? I was driving down a windy mountain when I came headfirst against a cartel supercar. I cut him off, stood to the side, and set up a hasty ambush. I didn't get enough rounds out to stop the car, so I chased him down. After filling his car with bullets, I pulled him out of the smoking car shortly before it exploded. I considered the battle won, so I started to squeeze him for intel. Unfortunately, I got ahead of myself, because while I asked my questions, a PMC showed up on a buggy with a mounted minigun. It lit me up and I went down. Fortunately, you can be revived once per fight, and my team took it down. But damn, that was too close for comfort. Let's go to a different direction. Let's look at Halo. Most Halo players are probably aware of Lasso, where legendary skulls are optional modifiers that generally make the game harder, but some are just kind of goofy. But instead of going all out, we need just one. The Iron Skull, no, not the Crystal Skull. The Iron Skull, when used solo, restarts to current level whenever you die. And no game fits the idea of being vulnerable in Halo, like Halo 3 ODST. When I took hits from the Covenant, the pained moans and character's attempts to calm breathing gave me the feeling that he was trying to mentally gather himself for the next push. And when I'm worried about them dying too, it really enhances the fantasy of what's happening on my screen. Even little things like the weightiness of crouched movement help the experience feel more grounded than other Halo games. Like before, I didn't go all the way to Legendary. I went with Heroic, and in my city exploration missions especially, I found myself counting targets and preparing my position before engagements. Brutes got treated like major threats and became priority targets. My first death was to Hunters on the second level, and when I got to that part again, I discovered that you can avoid them and just go around to continue the mission. I've played this game for 10 years and never done that. This idea wasn't as drastic in Halo, generally you're trying not to die anyway, but I was definitely more invested in surviving, and it helped me appreciate the world a lot more. Especially because I felt like I was in the shoes of my character. Definitely would recommend.
Damn.
Then I had a completely different idea. What genre allows for tons of variation in playstyle, tons of preparation before engagements, and could be restarted and taken in a completely different direction every run? Oh my god, modded New Vegas roguelike. I already had an installation of Fallout New Vegas with about 150 mods on it, so it was easy to add one more. Dead is Dead is a mod for Fallout New Vegas that allows for many configurable forms of permadeath. You can choose between 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 lives when you start a new character. And if that's a bit much for you, you can enable a new life every 2 levels or upon drinking a special Nuka-Cola drink. If you aren't willing to commit to Iron Man like I have, I still recommend this mod. It's very well designed. Once you die, you get a fun screen with stats about your character, and if you're afraid you'll cheat yourself, the mod has safeguards for that too. If you reload an old save, they won't let you play if you've died, and the only way to load saves from gameplay is to go to the menu, so you can't abuse quick saving and loading. Combine this mod with the alternate start mod that lets you delay the main quest, and you have a recipe for interesting stories and super intense gameplay. Let me run you through a few characters. Luke was the sergeant in the NCR, until one day he pissed off a superior with the wrong kind of connections and found himself wandering away from Shady Sands into the Mojave in search of something. He wasn't known for much, and he certainly wasn't well liked, but he was damn quick and he had eyes like a falcon. He was a master of breathing control and always took his time to make sure he hit his target, even if his trigger finger left something to be desired. He considered himself a bit of a survivalist, and he preferred to sleep under the stars. He arrived at the Mojave outpost and quickly got acquainted with the NCR station there. He killed some ants to clear a road near the outpost to make some money. After that, he talked to a scout named Ghost who asked him to check on a nearby town called Nipton. When he got there, he saw a flag he hadn't seen in a long time.
It's interesting when the game allows you to do this kind of stuff, this kind of role play. The mods just add to the game, like the mods that I downloaded for Darkest Dungeon. Instead of breaking the game or kind of taking it away, it just adds to the game.
Long time, and it was still too soon. The Legion was here. He creeped along the edge of the town, doing his best to get an angle on them. He leveled his sights and took his shots. At least one of the bastards went down, and he broke contact. Eventually, he made his way to the other side of the town. He fired some more, and he threw every grenade he could. And miraculously, the firing stopped, and quiet returned. They were all dead. He looked down the road at the crucified powder gangers and decided that whether they were scum or not, they didn't deserve this fate. He tried to take one of them down, but realized there was no way to do it without killing them. So kill them he did. Clean shots to the head for each. Realizing what kind of a threat the Mojave was dealing with, he realized he had to head north to get in touch with NCR leadership. He couldn't let these atrocities continue. He wandered through the desert, but when he stopped to drink some water, he was snuck up on by rad scorpions. Like with everything else, he took time to deliberate.
Pew, get pew.
I can't sprint because my legs are broken! Fuck! Because of
Dead.
It wasn't fast enough. When the NCR found the bodies in Nipton, Luke's body had already been consumed by the desert. Ivan always considered himself lucky, and one day decided he would head to the strip and show the world just how lucky he really was. From the very first hand, he was on a hot streak, and from there, the caps just kept climbing. The cards kept flipping, the drinks kept pouring, and the fights kept starting. By the end of the night, he was kicked out of every casino on the strip. When he awoke in Freeside, all he had on him was a 9mm Browning, a few stim packs, and a key to his room in the Ultralux. But the way he saw it, his luck hadn't run out yet. He sold the stims for a gulp of whiskey and about 17 poker chips. By the time he was politely asked not to gamble at the Atomic Wrangler anymore, he had a few thousand caps to his name, enough to pass the credit check back into Vegas. On his way to the Ultralux, someone sold him at 22. He figured some security and...
I mean, you're in New Vegas. You gotta bet.
Side couldn't hurt, and they finally got inside to catch some sleep and plan his next move. On his way out the door in the morning, he overheard a rancher named Heck Gunderson complaining about his missing son. Apparently, he went missing at the casino, and Ivan decided he might be able to play both sides. He agreed to help look for the boy, but figured at this exact moment he knew where Gunderson was, which meant his hotel room would be empty. But if Ivan was truly lucky, he never would have come back to the strip. Gunderson didn't bring one bodyguard. He brought one with him and left 2 in the hotel room. His pea shooter was no match for their shotguns, and after just a few blasts, his luck ran out. Jericho was a mercenary from Idaho. He was
It's just going through role playing. Enough. It's a cool idea, the idea of permadeath, but that's for when you're like absolutely completely bored out of your mind and you have absolutely nothing more. Let's see this one. No! No!
Video games are an amazing piece of media. They can tell a story that you can not only experience, but also interact with. But what happens when instead of you interacting with the game interacts with you? Only you. Get out of my head! Get out!
It's the Stanley Parable game. The game constantly berating you.
Out of my... Far Cry 5 is a game about a silly police officer who gets trapped in a basin with a cult. Alright, maybe we need a little more context. A group of police officers are sent to Hope County, Montana with the goal of arresting a man named Joseph Seed for kidnapping with the intent to harm. He surprisingly gives up very easily, which seems too good to be true. Because it is. The cult cuts all communication to the outside world, and because of existing global conflict, nobody seems to care about the small town in Montana. You, playing as the deputy, are meant to take down the entire...
You're the deputy, you're gonna be arrested now, boy. Prepare yourself to go to jail.
Cult, starting with Joseph Seed's heralds, Faith, John, and the star of today's show, Jacob. Up until this point in the game, the cult has proved to be a massive power, being able to manipulate people's minds with a drug called bliss. The cult has also been known to utilize torture.
I am going to play KS New Song.
Hope County has 3 main regions, each now taken over by one of the heralds. The important one today is Jacob's region in the Whitetail Mountains. Upon wreaking a lot of havoc in the Whitetail Mountains, old brother Jacob will get a little upsetty spaghetti, and he'll radio to you with a nice, friendly, reassuring message. And you'll be notified.
A little American flag on the side.
That you are being hunted. Which totally isn't terrifying or anything. When I first played the game, I browned my little pantaloonies when I saw that. But that isn't so bad. You've taken on the cult's finest before, so this should be no
Ah! You took an arrow to the knee. Now you become a soldier. Ha!
We wake up to see our old friend Pratt tying us to a chair. A slideshow is projected on the wall showing different prey that has been torn apart, and predators eating the prey. And the main man then decides to make an appearance.
We have forgotten what it is to be strong. You know, our heroes used to be gods. And now our heroes are godless, weak, feeble, diseased.
Damn.
We let the weak dictate to the powerful, and then we are shocked to find ourselves adrift.
He gives a little speech about how it's important to cull the herd. Culling the herd meaning to reduce or control the size of something, such as a herd, by removal, as by hunting or slaughter, of especially weak or sick individuals. This seems to be Jacob's explanation for all of the atrocious things the cult has done. It was in the interest of sacrificing the few for the many. Jacob then opens a small wooden box which begins playing the song Only You by the Platters, which seems to have a weird effect on you, and the others in the room.
Only you.
We wake up to see a room similar to the one we were just in, except this time there's a gun on the table and we aren't tied down. So, we start killing, because that is what we do. This is a new area, and we're still getting used to it. Depictions of dead animals are sprawled on the walls, and the word train is written at the end of this hallway. But you don't have time to read that. You've got people to kill. Until finally, you go down a fun little slide and the dream ends.
Oh.
We then wake up to see a nice friendly group of people who came in to recover bodies.
Why am I all stuck on corpse duty? Holy shit!
They then take us back to their bunker, where stupid idiot Tammy is a big meanie head.
She's a fat lady.
Know better.
What was I supposed to do?
She explains that it's unsafe to bring us back here and that she's...
Seen what it does to people. You haven't.
But based Eli says screw the 19th Amendment, he's staying here. Then Eli decides to see if you're the real deal and sends you on a rescue mission to find 4 hostages that the cult took.
I'm counting on you.
But we gotta be real stealthy. Because if the cult sees us, they'll shoot the hostages. After murking the cultists, we rescue the hostages and discover that the cult has taken more hostages to a place called Devil's Drop, where they plan to drop the hostages. Because of course they do.
No, of course
Once
they do.
again, we go ham style on the silly little cult people, and now we have gained Eli's trust. Yay! We do some driving around and clearing the streets before...
Drugs.
We see Pratt having a conniption, which isn't too abnormal, so whatever. And then Jacob shows up. But this time, it seems he brought a little guest. Mr. Joseph Seed decides to tell us a little story.
We're in pain. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. You're not the only one to be tested.
He tells us about his dead wife, who he was getting ready to have a child with, and actually, I'll let him tell the story.
And one day she was going to go visit a friend. There was an accident. The Lord take it. They rushed me to a hospital and put me in a room with this little pink bundle stuffed with tubes. And they said that I had to be strong because my little girl was going to live. God was looking out for our daughter. And they left me alone in the room with her.
Like I said, Far Cry 5 poking fun of the Christians.
And in that moment, I knew that God was testing me. He was laying out a path before me, and all I had to do was choose. So I put my hand on my little girl's head. I heard God's plan for me. So I took my fingers and I put them on that little plastic tube that was taped to her angelic face, and I pinched it shut. And after a little while, her legs began to kick and kick. And then nothing. Stillness. Release. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh.
I mean, you took it away.
Pain, sacrifice, these are all part of his test. And we have to prove that we can serve God, no matter what he asks.
You know what time it is. This time, we know what we're doing. Killing fellers even faster, with Jacob in the background giving us very kind motivation.
Good. Call the herd.
He's such a nice fellow. We see the word hunt written on the end of the hallway this time, and a deer runs across, guiding us to new targets that we may not have seen on our first time through. No longer are we merely trying to survive, now we're trying to become more acquainted with this area, and trying to find out exactly what's going on here. This time, after going down the super mega fun slide, the mission doesn't just end. We get more of the level to explore. Right at the very end, we turn the corner to one final faceless enemy. We wake up in the average New York living conditions.
Put the fries in the thing. I'm gonna kick your butt!
And get back to a regular routine of killing scumbags.
Damn.
We head on back to the Whitetail Militia hideout, the Wolf's Den, and Eli tells us about a fellow member of the militia who's being brainwashed by Jacob. And it's our job to sneak into the place he's located and play some rock music to reverse the brainwashing. Right? Because that's how that works. Because the platters are like doo-wop, so rock is like, I don't know. I just do what I'm told. After finding this four-pillow...
Which is quite interesting if you think about it. Most of the games, I believe, you see in Far Cry 3, you're a pushover. People telling you what to do. You don't have a real objective, but the objective of other people. Far Cry 4, the same thing. If you play the game, that is, because if you don't want, you can just do what the guy says and wait for him to return, and then if you wait for him to return, you finish the game. And then there's this one, Far Cry 5, which, there you go, once again, you're someone doing what you're told by other people. Far Cry 2, you are a mercenary doing a job. So at least you have an objective. In Far Cry 1, you are investigating the weird stuff that is going on, the mutations and the mutants. So you're in a mission. The other ones, every other one, is someone trying to use you for their own purpose. It's so interesting.
What? After finding this poor fellow strapped to the chair, it's time to have some classic Far Cry gameplay.
It's America, there's lost guns, yeehaw!
Well, that was fun. We head back to the Wolf's Den to get our next mission. I wonder if Tammy has something for me to do. Let's go check up on her. Tammy, what the hell? She wants us to go destroy some thingy-mabobs on radio towers.
She's fat.
I don't know. We do that, beat the piss out of this random cultist, and then give this truck a nice little love tap before... Not again!
It's interesting. In the first game, you don't have the hallucinations and stuff, right? But you have the shift in from fighting mercenaries into fighting the mutations. And then Far Cry 2 has the malaria thing, in which you get sick. But then there's apparently you don't have anything else. But then comes Far Cry 3. And introduces the hallucinations and the drugs. And then the guys just don't go away from it, ever. They never, all the games have to have some sort of hallucination thing.
We wake up awfully hungry, and Jacob gives us some mystery meat.
Oh, you must be hungry. Did you know it takes 10 days for civilization to collapse?
We can see Pratt shaving Jacob's neck with a very sharp knife. It's clear that at any moment, Pratt could kill Jacob and no one could stop him. However, he doesn't, which is an amazing display of not only the control Jacob has over people, but also the confidence he has in this control. He then goes on to tell us a cute little story about how he and his buddy got stranded in the desert during the Gulf War, and how eventually he had to eat his friend to survive. Which doesn't make me feel any better about the mystery meat he just gave us. But you know the drill. It's time to go through this fun little obstacle course.
You see, the third time becomes repetitive. You have to do the same thing and you already know what's going to happen. It becomes predictable. And then it becomes boring.
This time, we're even more acquainted with the setting. Finding even more areas with enemies, killing the enemies even faster, and progressing through the level much more smoothly.
Like, you do the same thing again and again.
Then we finally get to the end and wake back up. Except this time, we're back in the cage from before. It's dark outside, and Pratt tells us about how he's going to get us out of here.
We're gonna get out of here, okay? Only you. Only you. Hey, what about me? What about me? You aren't strong enough.
Hop off it, Pratt.
What?
Pratt starts to explain how Jacob seems to have some big plan or method here, but because Pratt is so unbelievably hysteric, he's not making any sense.
Did they do the what was that conspiracy theory gif? Did they just did this? Did they just did this? They did it, didn't they? They literally did. Oh, come on, Chrome. Just load the thing. Ah, come on. Stupid bitch. They literally did this. They literally did this scene. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
But because Pratt is so
They literally did the scene.
so unbelievably hysteric, he's not making any sense. The people discover that we're missing, and Pratt starts to freak out once again. Like, Brody, calm down. It's not like you've been put through mental anguish by a maniac cultist who has killed and tortured countless people. It's okay, though, because he's actually the GOAT, and he ended up pushing us onto a truck, which helped us escape. Okay, now it's time to deal with the worst mission in the game, the Barren Lumber Mill. Liberating the lumber mill itself isn't so bad. In fact, I would go as far as to say it's designed better than most other cult outposts. It's the mission that takes place after that sucks an unbelievable degree of butthole.
Damn.
We find a girl named Jess who... Hold on.
She's the man.
Shut up, woman! She wants us to go with her to save some hostages from a dude named the Cook, a guy who burns people alive with a flamethrower. Notice how...
And of course, the woman carries a bow and arrow. What? Oh my gosh. What is up with people that make female characters carry a bow and arrow? Huh? Just... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What? Why? It's always a woman carrying the bow and arrow. It's always the woman carrying the bow and arrow. It's always a woman with a bow and arrow. Tomb Raider? New Tomb Raider? A woman with a bow and arrow. Horizon? It's a woman with a bow and arrow. That has to be some kind of symbology with bow and arrow that I'm not aware of. That has to be. That has to be.
How I describe that. And
Oh fuck it. Oh fuck are those? Look at those arrows on the corner. Holy moly. Those are gigantic.
Dude named the Cook, a guy who burns people alive with a flamethrower. Notice how I described that in like 6 seconds? Well, apparently Jess doesn't know anything about how to summarize because it takes her forever to get done talking about him. On top of this, she runs at the pace of the average Rust player, and to top all of this off, she's wearing maybe the most trash fit known to man. Then we kill the Cook.
Dutch was right. Cook's dead
And
I don't feel anything.
Well, I sure do.
of course you don't feel anything. Because you're not a woman anymore.
The end. I'm done talking about this stupid mission. Alright, it's finally time. Let's see what Ed Sheeran has in store for us now.
Of course. And then it's the fourth time that you do the same thing. You should be, the guy should already be like, what is it this time? If the Colt can get him that easily, 4 times.
Don't worry, you'll be out of here soon enough.
Of course he will.
Did you think you were free?
After the second time, I was sure. I was sure he was not. I follow a simple rule of life. I call it the rule of 3. And it's an expansion of a rule that I learned from a video game. A video game called Republic Commando. There is one of the laws, one of the rules that the clones learn that I expanded it on it. They say once is an anomaly, once is an anomaly, twice is a trend. And I expanded on it because it's a rule of 3. So once is an anomaly, twice is a trend, and 3 times is a pattern. It means that if something happened once, it's an anomaly. You know, it might not happen again. It's something that you might not need to worry about. If it happens twice, it's a trend. It means that it might happen again and again and again. But if it happens a 3rd time, then it's a pattern. It means that it will always happen the same way. That's how it works. And it works for everything in life. If you pay attention to your own life, it happens the same way. It always happens that way. So if you do something and you get one result, you can call it that it's an anomaly. But if you do that and you get the same result a 2nd time, it's a trend. And you do it a 3rd time and you get the same result, it's a pattern. So it means that whatever you're doing, if you're doing that same way, you're always going to get the same result.
Your little buddy went to a whole lot of trouble for nothing. That's okay. He knows better now. I told you, you're not a hero. You are a tool. You know your
What the hell is it on his arm?
purpose. You've known it from the beginning.
One final time we go through the course, killing everything that moves. Now, we are completely comfortable with the setting. We know where everything is. We know all the guns, we know all the enemies. We hurry through the course, turning every person we see into gray dust, but suddenly, there's no more gray dust. Suddenly, the bodies start to really fall to the ground. We make one final push and
let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor.
And turn the corner to shoot Eli.
The guy. There we go. Damn.
Only you could have gotten this close. Only you could have earned his trust. It was always only ever you.
This is they did the mocap really well. That is really good. Technically speaking, the mocap is done really well here. It's so good.
Good work. You did it. You passed your test. You made your sacrifice. But now, you're alone. And you're weak. And we know what happens to the weak. I call the herd. It's what I do. I'll be outside waiting for you.
The mocap is really, really good.
This is among the most shocking moments I've ever experienced in a game. and also the most layered. Because at this moment, we realize that Jacob wasn't just brainwashing the player character, he was brainwashing the player. So let's rewind and break down exactly how Jacob did this. To do that, we first need to understand something I find fascinating: subliminal messaging. Subliminal messaging is a technique that uses hidden images or words to influence people's attitudes and behaviors without their awareness. How does this apply to Far Cry? Well, during the dream sections, there are all sorts of subliminal messages scattered around the map.
Yeah.
The most significant of which being the text at the end of this hallway. The first time going through, we see the word train. This being our first time, it's possible that we consciously read this. However, because it's not very helpful, it's easily disregarded. For the second time through, we see the word hunt along with a deer running to the left section of the hallway. Something that you may not have even explored on your first time through. So this deer running to the left, along with the subliminal message to hunt, guides us that direction, only to discover more people we can kill. This level also introduces the new section of the map. In hindsight, this makes sense. The entire time Jacob was training us to kill Eli, and in order to do that, we needed to have been in the bunker first. The level ends here because the first time the deputy had never been in the bunker before, but Jacob left the deputy in the hotel intentionally so that Eli would find them and take them back to the bunker. Which is why on the second time through, we get to see more of the map, because now the deputy understands what the rest of the map would look like. The entrance to this next section even resembles the bunker's cascading entrance. On our third time going through the level, we see the word kill on the wall, and a wolf runs to the left just like the deer did last time. But unlike before, where we were hunting for our targets, this time we know where they are, and our only necessary task is to kill them. Throughout all of these levels, there has been a strong emphasis on the importance of not only killing, but doing so quickly. We would constantly hear Jacob making remarks on our process, saying things like,
Yes, sacrifice the weak. Good. Not bad.
He's always encouraging the kills, making us feel like the path we're following is the intended one, and not leaving us to second guess ourselves. At the very end,
it would be interesting if you could ignore it. If you could ignore it and just let it not happen. But
upon killing the faceless enemy,
oh well.
Every time he will remark, further encouraging this one important kill at the end. We can also see those familiar messages on the wall behind the enemy. On the final level, we see the word sacrifice on the wall. I don't believe this has any subliminal effect, however, it is worth mentioning. In the final part,
I mean, it's the whole thing,
where we kill Eli, it finally becomes clear that the game was playing you all along. When I first played the game, I actually ended up dying to the final enemy on my first time through. Because of the way he's placed, it provides an easy way for him to surprise you, which ensured that in the future, I wouldn't leave any time for him to kill me. Of course, we know how that worked out. I think it's very fascinating that the game relied not on a script of killing Eli, but rather the game is so confident that you will, because of the way they set everything up, that they don't need to script anything. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go listen to some of my favorite music.
Earlier. And that was interesting. That was an interesting analysis. And it's interesting that the game does that, but railroading is complicated in any game. Railroading the player is really complicated because if it's not done well, it goes downhill really fast. It just goes downhill because it becomes boring, it becomes repetitive, and it becomes really bad. Really, really bad. All right. Let me pull back my image here. Where is the other thing? Let me turn this off and bring my song back up. And I'm gonna end this one for today, because tomorrow I still have things to do. To go see my father, my parents. Thank you everyone for coming in and hanging out once again. Thank you Hod, thank you Heathcliff, L'Erosion, and Solar, and Shredder for waking up just to say hi and go to sleep again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, and I will see you guys on the next one.